Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to the November edition of Tea with Me. I'm getting it in just under the wire. November has flown by, and I can't even believe we're facing December. My husband and I went away with friends for a week to South Carolina, the second week in November, which meant the first week of November was packing and getting ready for that trip and getting my dogs all situated with a house sitter. And then the second week we traveled. The third week we came back and settled back in and unpacked. And then it was Thanksgiving. And now we're here. We're at the end of November facing December. And I wanted to take the opportunity to use my monthly chat this month to talk about December dailies, what they are, why we do them, what the differences are. And I'm going to throw a few choices out there for you guys if you're in the process of trying to decide how to do some self-care this December. So before I start, I just want to say welcome to anybody new to my channel. I try to do a monthly chat once a month called Tea with Me, where I talk about paper things, vintage things, book recommendations, product recommendations, and just, kind of invite you into my world. I hope it's something that you can have a cup of tea with me or put on while you're crafting or doing housework or cooking for the holidays, and it adds value to your life. If you're a subscriber, thank you so much for being here and continuing to support me and my little channel. So before I start, Tea with Me always starts with my tea that I'm drinking this month, and I am doing something. I'm using my last of my Pickwick stash tea that I got from my friend Liz a few years ago. It's Turkish apple, and I'm so excited to be having it because it feels like a little bit Christmassy. And I got this for Christmas last year. I can't turn it or it'll spill, but it is this ginormous mug with a little mesh filter, I guess, so that you can use loose tea, but I'm cheating and using regular tea today. But it's going to give me a nice, huge cup of tea to have while we are chatting. Okay, so what are December dailies exactly? When I was new to junk journaling and journaling, I think it was in 2018 I started. I didn't know what they were. And when people talked about them, they all seemed to talk about them like everybody knew, and I didn't. So if you don't know what they are, they're essentially a journal that you work in every day in December for a variety of reasons. Some people do December dailies as a means of self-care during a busy time when they're not taking time for themselves to sort of quiet their brain and center themselves. Some people do them for memory keeping. There are a lot of holidays in December, not just Christmas. There's Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. There's usually a lot of family occasions. There are parties. There are things maybe you want to remember about your children growing up during this special time. Maybe you prepare religiously and you want to document that. Other people do it as a way of connecting with the preparation of the holiday in terms of spirituality. If you're a Christian, you might celebrate Advent and do it as sort of an Advent calendar, connecting with the real reason of the season. It could be something that you're reflecting on every day. But essentially it comes down to this. It's usually 30 days of wrapping up the year, reflecting on the holiday to come, and taking a little quiet time for yourself. So what I'm going to do is go over a few types of December dailies. I'm going to talk about 3 offerings this year that I think are worth noting and the differences between them, and then the supplies you'll need. And hopefully by the end of this video, you will be December daily ready to go. And if you haven't participated before, you'll be excited to do so. Okay, let's talk the 3 kinds of December dailies, or at least the 3 kinds that I see and that I think sort of encapsulate the choices that you have. Your first kind is the simple junk journal writing, collaging prompt type of December daily, which would be something like these 2. Your second kind would be something similar to this, which is a sort of an art journal type of a December daily, and this is used a lot for self-care, self-reflection on the year, and just to sort of bring some creativity to your life. And then the third kind is more of a spiritual junk journal, and we will talk about each type right now. So let me start with this. This is a typical December daily, and this one in particular I've been hoarding for several years. I got it as a gift from an IG contest back when I first started junk journaling, and I really wasn't sure what a December daily was, and I wasn't prepared to do one, so I didn't do it that first year, and I've been hoarding it ever since. And I think just because it was the first thing that I ever got from somebody else, and there's so many cute little pieces of ephemera that she included, and I don't know, I just like having it as is. But what it is very typical of a December daily. It's a simple cover made out of scrapbook paper, and then a bunch of loose sheets inside of different types of paper. Coffee dyed paper, lined paper, magazines, sheet music, and a couple pockets. And that's really, really all you need. It's very, very easy to do one of these. You can do it in a couple hours with a simple pamphlet stitch. And you don't need a lot of sheets. Let's see how many she included here. It's probably more than I need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 sheets of paper. 15 sheets of paper means that there is definitely 30 spreads there, if you're going on each page. And if you did one on each side, you wouldn't even need 15. You'd only need like 8 or 10 tops. So it doesn't need to be anything fancy, and you're going to probably be prompting and collaging on top of it, so it can be very plain. You don't have to do all these sort of junk journal techniques. It's just layering paper, putting a cover on, and then sewing. Now, one idea I would give you is if you are making gifts for people, or you're doing projects for Christmas right now, include a December daily for next year for yourself now. I made this one last year just out of scrapbook paper, and this is just a little tie that closes over, and I did the same thing she did, just layered plain paper, graph paper, scrapbook paper, vintage cards, sheet music, anything you have, book pages. And again, I probably used as many sheets as she did. This would be great for writing and simple collage, but it's going to get quite bulky. So if you think you're going to be putting lots of little goodies in there, I would do less pages. Keep it to about 8 or 10. But it's a great project to do now for next year, so that when the end of November rolls around next year, you're not stressed out about having a December daily ready. You can simply already know there's one ready to go. In this particular case, I took a vintage package label as my book plate. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that usually there's all sorts of ways that these journals are used. There are plenty of people out there that do prompt lists, and those lists go usually for the 30 days or at least till Christmas, and you can use a prompt daily to guide you on what you're going to do in the book every day, and just take a half an hour a day, 15 minutes a day, and work in your journal, just as a really nice way of self-care during a busy time. There are plenty of people out there doing this type of prompt list, and if I find some, I will link some in the book in the box below, but you can simply find them by using the hashtag December Daily prompt list on Instagram or YouTube, and I'm sure you will find some, and you can pick a list that you like. So that's the first kind. The second kind of December Daily is the first one I ever did. The first year, and I would recommend this for new people who aren't sure about December Dailies, you could subscribe to a couple December Dailies, the ones that have videos, and watch them and kind of assess what kind of materials do I need? How does this work? And then know going in next year that you're kind of prepared and know how you want to approach a December Daily. I watched Kasia Avery's December Daily in 2018, and that is how I decided about doing this one. I just watched the year before, and even just watching was so relaxing. Just taking a few minutes to listen to her speak and watch her create, even if I did nothing, was very enjoyable to me. So if you feel like I don't have time, I can't do it, you can at least check out December Dailies, watch the videos, see how other people are dealing with the prompts. And even if you put a half an hour aside for yourself when you're having coffee to watch the video, to watch her make her page, and then go on the hashtag and see how other people interpret it, that's self-care right there. So please don't feel pressured that you have to create. So Kasia Avery, and I will link her information below, she is part of Everything Art, and they do the Wanderlust art classes. But she has been offering at December time a free advent calendar. She used to call it Kasia's Advent Calendar, where she did an art journal prompt every day and talked a little bit about what the prompt was about, and then you watched her do how she handled it. Not only is this a wonderful way to just relax and unwind and play, but it's also a wonderful way to get into art journaling if you've never tried it before and you're maybe curious about it. You have 20 teeny tiny little little lessons. They're not lessons, but little inspirations to kind of play around. And all she has you do is make a simple journal. I gutted an old book, took out the pages, layered a bunch of different types of pages, and then put an elastic band. That's it. You don't even have to sew it. And I just slid those pages in. And what's wonderful about that is you can add pages, you can take pages out, you can take them out to work on them. And if I flip through here, you would see nothing incredible. This was just sheer play. Some of the pages are good, some of them are really bad. But it's okay, because I like looking at what I wrote and where I was at the time. I like reflecting on the prompts. This was my first time really playing around with mixed media, so it was just a really good time to try to figure that whole thing out. I don't pretend that this is like amazing art, but this was so therapeutic to me and really, really fun to do. And let me say, if you're following a prompt-generated type of a December Daily, you don't have to do every day. Some days I just didn't have time. So on those days, I just watched the prompts and enjoyed them for what they were. And then on days I did have time, I would do them. This is supposed to be enjoyable. This is supposed to be something that brings you a little bit of peace during a busy time, not adds to your stress level. So I will definitely link her information below. This year she's renamed it, instead of the Kasia's Advent Calendar, she's named it something else, and it's 20 days. So she's already assuming that you may not do every single day, which is lovely and fine. So definitely check her out if you're interested. She encourages a very small amount of supplies. She teaches you how to make a very small palette with just a few choices. So every day isn't about trying to figure out what you're going to use. It's all set up. You go in, you play, and it's a really, really nice experience. I highly, highly recommend it, and it's free. So the third type of junk journaling, I wish I could show you. I cannot find it from last year. And I did it, and it's somewhere buried somewhere. But it is more of the spiritual kind of December daily, where you are reflecting on the reason for the season. And I'm going to highly recommend, it's the second year she does it. And it's Ayusia from Ayusia Designs, and she does a really beautiful job of taking this time of year, if you're Christian, and reflecting on just being quiet within yourself in one piece of scripture or a psalm. And then she'll do a little prompt about it. She'll reflect about it. And she uses mostly watercolors in her work, although she did use some acrylics last year and other things, but she's very calming. She has a beautiful way about her. And if you're looking for something to tune you in to the reason we have Christmas and sort of the spiritual nature of Christmas, I definitely recommend her, and I will link her information below. Now, having said that, there's one more type of December daily this year that is very different, and I think junk journalers will really be excited about. Barbara at 49 Dragonflies is teaming up with Louise Heinzel, and they are doing, and I'm not going to be able to say this, she can barely say it, it's called the Defembra Ephemera, or it's the Defembra Ephemera. But essentially what it is it's going to be taking 25 days of Christmas, or of leading up to Christmas, and every single day working in sort of a December daily prompt list, but making ephemera. So you don't even need a journal. You can just jump in. She's going to have videos that go along with it, and I'm sure there'll be a whole community of people doing it so that you can use the hashtag to see how other people use it. There'll be other videos. There'll be people from around the world that are doing it. And how fun to make ephemera that maybe you can put into junk journals in the future, use in your own memory keeping, tuck into an envelope when you're doing happy mail. It's really a wonderful opportunity just to make some fun things in a group community in Christmas and sort of, spend some time with yourself doing something fun. So this is the prompt list. You can download it on her YouTube channel, and I will link that below. And I think she's beginning December 1st, which is coming right up. And because it's not a journal, if you don't have a journal, you can jump right into this, which kind of leads me into the way I'm going to do a December daily this year. Not knowing that she was even going to be doing this, I had already planned not to do a journal this year. Now, that's not to say I'm not signing up for Kasia's Advent offering or Ayusia's, because I'll still watch those videos and get so much out of them. And, maybe I will join them on certain days that the spirit moves me or I have a little extra time. But I will definitely be tuning into theirs. But for myself, I've been really into making books out of garment tags, taking all the garment tags from clothes and things and putting them in here. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen I made one about my vacation in November, which I wish I could show you, but I gave it as a gift to the woman whose birthday it was that we were celebrating on vacation. So I don't have it, but I thought how fun it would be if after these are done, they're all stacked together, and I have this little tag book about my holiday season this year. And maybe I will use Ayusia's prompts or Kasia's prompts or even Barbara's prompts on these tags and incorporate them all in. So I'm giving myself a lot of freedom to just enjoy myself this December, not to give myself a lot of pressure, and not to say I have to do it this way. It has to be done every day. I have to have the perfect journal. The holidays are stressful enough. I'm going to do something for me the way that I want to do it. And that's what I totally encourage you guys to do. So let's talk about supplies. It is very overwhelming this time of year to think about gifts and Christmas cards and shopping and cooking and entertaining and decorating, and now you have to make your own journal on top of it. Some people love that process. Some people don't. Some people just want to jump right in. So I'm going to show you a few things you can do if you do not want to make your own journal. And all of these would work for December dailies, some better than others for different situations. So I think I've gone over how to simply make, if you wanted to make your own just out of mixed paper. And you could really do it just by cutting and stacking paper and putting elastic bands. That's how simple you could go. But if you're like, I don't even want to do that, I just want it to be ready, here's some options for you. The first option is just one of these little books that you get at the stationery store or even at the dollar store. They're already made journals that are already stitched. They already have plenty of paper to write and collage in. They are not heavy paper, so this would not be a good option for a mixed media journal or for a one you're going to do watercolor or heavy pasting with liquid glue in. But if you are just going to do simple collage with a glue stick and maybe a little PVA glue, art glitter glue, and you might just be writing and doing collage, this is a perfect one. And if you don't feel like it's December daily enough, you could take a Christmas card and get one. You could take a Christmas card and cut the front panel off and just glue it. Or you could even glue the Christmas card right on the front like this and then flip it open on the front of your cover and maybe write the year and, you know, what your thoughts about this year were or something like that. Super, super easy just to decorate an already existing book. You can even use wrapping paper, Christmas wrapping paper, just decorate something already made. And, you know, you can get one of these for less than $3. The second thing I would say is you could, if you're going to be doing mixed media, you could do an old board book that you have laying around that maybe your kids or your grandkids have. All you have to do is get some white gesso and white gesso the pages. I have done these books before. I will link a video below to how I did mine so that if you want a little tutorial on how to prep the pages ahead of time, you can. But it's just a simple gessoing of the pages and then spreading them out and letting them dry. And then they're ready to go. And it's nice and thick. It's fabulous for collage and a really easy way to recycle something you already have. There are, this book here is a Strathmore mixed media book. They call them, I think that you can get them on Amazon, and I'll put the link below. They're called Visual Diaries, but basically they're just watercolor or mixed media paper on a spiral bound. This is the type I used for Ayusia's last year. I had a top spiral, so like I said, I don't know where that is. I redid my room a couple months ago, and I probably put it somewhere that I think is organized, and I'll find it after the holidays. But this is the one that I used. This is an idea book I have, so you can see I've used watercolor in it already. It takes watercolor, pen and ink. It takes everything, and it's just a terrific substrate. It's less than $10, and because of all the pages, you could use it as a December daily every year and just keep building in this book. If you're doing mostly watercolor and a little mixed media, this is a really good one. Plus, you could take out some pages if it was getting too bulky. So that's another option. Another option I have is this book cost me $3 at the discount store. This is a scrapbooking book. So in other words, this was used for scrapbookers to make spreads on it. The paper is very heavy. It's not watercolor paper, but it's heavy because it's a scrapbook substrate. So it will take on basic watercolors, mixed media, heavier wet glue. And while it's not perfect for watercolors, it will be fine for December daily. Again, it's got a nice spiral, which allows you to do it this way or have it oriented that way. And for left-handed people like me, it's really great because you can work without getting on the other page. So these are all super, super easy, cheap ways to get into a December daily. You will only need, honestly, a pencil, maybe a nice fine tip pen, some watercolors if you choose, a pair of scissors, a glue stick. You need very minimal things to participate in these types of projects. And December dailies are really a wonderful way to give yourself some lovely self-care this time of year. So I hope that you will check out Kasia's offering on Everything Art, Ayuzia's on Ayuzia Designs, Barbara's on 49 Dragonflies. So it's really whatever it is that you need to do to care for yourself, to give yourself some creative time, and not put pressure on yourself. This is supposed to be a fun activity that brings meaning to your Christmas season. So let me take my last, it's not my last sip, but my last sip for this video. Thank you, Liz, for this lovely tea. It was wonderful spending time with you all. It's wonderful thinking that we're going to be going into the holiday season together. I hope this helps explain December dailies and give you inspiration for them. I will see you soon in December. I won't wait to the end of the month. I promise, I promise, I promise, I promise. And have a great end of November, and I will see you in December.